Welcome back, family. Grab your favorite cup of coffee and get comfortable, because the drama at the clinic and beyond is about to reach boiling point. This February 2026, secrets are spilling, hearts are breaking, and old faces are stirring up trouble where they're least welcome. If you're loving these deep dive recaps, don't forget to join our channel membership or drop a super thanks donation to keep these stories coming. Every bit of support helps, so please let the ads play, subscribe, and share the drama with your friends. Now, let's dive into the tear-jerking, edge-of-your-seat storytelling you've been waiting for. Monday, 2nd February 2026, episode 176 kicked off with Louis Ferreira's growing concern for Acosta, prompting an unannounced visit to the farm where grief still hung thick in the air after Letitia's passing. Meanwhile, back at Binneland Clinic, Ella van Zyl was a bundle of nerves preparing for her crucial meeting with Johan, her professional future hanging in the balance. In a surprising twist, Henry, usually so composed, began acting strangely withdrawn, his behavior raising eyebrows among the nursing staff. Over at the shared flat, Bonnie gathered her flatmates with a solemn expression, delivering news that immediately dampened the mood, hinting at financial troubles that threatened their living arrangement. Tuesday, 3rd February 2026, episode 177 saw Ella swallowing her pride to ask Henry for help drafting a professional proposal, unaware of the personal turmoil brewing beneath his calm exterior. In a lighter moment, Joe attempted to muster the courage to ask a friend out on a date, his awkward charm providing a brief respite from the heavier storylines. The mood shifted again with a knock on Naomi and Louis's door, revealing Ivanka, her face pale and eyes weary, seeking refuge and stirring immediate concern in Naomi's motherly heart. Wednesday, 4th February 2026, episode 178 brought Ella and Johan into closer collaboration, their professional chemistry sparking something deeper that neither dared to address. Bonnie, however, was weaving a web of half-truths with Anechi, her intentions unclear but her anxiety palpable. At the Ferreira home, Ivanka tried desperately to mask her profound sadness from Naomi and Louis, putting on a brave face that fooled no one, especially as news of At's deteriorating state after Letitia's death began to circulate. Thursday, 5th February 2026, episode 179 found Henry utterly baffled by Ella's sudden coldness, misreading her professional stress as personal rejection. Ivanka, having heard more details of At's struggle, felt her own grief resurface, mirroring his isolation. In an act of kindness, Bonnie offered to do Anechi a favor, a gesture that seemed genuine but was likely tied to her own concealed agenda, further complicating their friendship. Friday, 6th February 2026, episode 180 delivered a shock as Acosta received an unexpected and somewhat unwelcome visitor at the farm, disrupting his fragile peace. Ella, overwhelmed, confessed something deeply disturbing to Johan, shaking their budding dynamic to its core. Joe's concern peaked when a close friend began exhibiting bizarre and secretive behavior, hinting at a crisis that would soon engulf their entire circle. Monday, 9th February 2026, episode 181 opened with Naomi and Louis steeling themselves to deliver heartbreaking news to Hannah, a conversation they dreaded. At's patience wore thin with his lingering guest, his temper flaring in a rare display of raw emotion. Anechi, face grim, gathered Bonnie and the flatmates to share bad news that threatened to unravel their already precarious living situation, casting a shadow over the group. Tuesday, 10th February 2026, episode 182 showed Naomi making a heartfelt promise to Hannah, vowing to protect her from the looming storm. At's frustrations boiled over, leading to a fierce confrontation with his guest that echoed through the farmhouse. Joe finally read Petro the riot act, demanding honesty, while a supposed award moment meant for celebration instead sparked jealousy and left one person feeling deeply wronged and isolated. Wednesday, 11th February 2026, episode 183 saw Naomi's worry skyrocket when she couldn't reach Ivanka, leading her to go searching. Henry, perhaps trying to mend fences, invited Ella as his +1 to a prestigious award ceremony, a move that only heightened their awkward tension. Bonnie was visibly upset by Petro's sudden and risky paternoster plans, fearing her friend was running from her problems straight into danger. Thursday, 12th February 2026, episode 184 found Thalia and Bonnie's well-intentioned plans to help Petro hitting an immovable roadblock. Louis and Naomi resolved to stand by At, offering support he was too proud to ask for. The air between Ella and Henry grew colder and more charged, while Petro and Joe's heated argument took an unexpected turn, ending in a moment of vulnerable clarity that changed everything. Friday, 13th February 2026, episode 185 proved an unlucky day for At, who was less than impressed with the parade of visitors disrupting his solitude on the farm. Henry packed his bags for an abrupt trip to the Cape, leaving questions hanging in his wake. In a move that surprised everyone, Petro decided to pay back every cent her friends had donated, a proud but worrying gesture that hinted at her stubborn refusal to accept help. Monday, 16th February 2026, episode 186, revealed Ella wrestling with doubts about her fledgling relationship with Johan, unsure if she could trust its direction. The much-anticipated girls' night at Kipasol, meant to be a fun surprise, went disastrously off-plan, leaving embarrassment and tension in its wake. In a rare tender moment, it took Hannah on a quiet outing, a simple gesture that spoke volumes of his love amidst his own pain. Tuesday, 17th February 2026, episode 187 saw Ella's suspicions hardening. She was now convinced Johan had developed real feelings for her, complicating their professional partnership. Petro, scarred by past heartbreak, confessed her fear of opening up her heart again, even for something good. Henry's attempt at a peace-offering gift spectacularly backfired, received not with joy but with confusion and a touch of resentment. Wednesday, 18th February 2026, episode 188 had Johan making an earnest, direct attempt to convince Ella to give a personal relationship a chance. The Binneland babes were buzzing with excitement over their latest venture, but their high spirits were instantly dampened by the unwelcome appearance of Elton, stirring old animosities. Meanwhile, Hannah, having found solace on the farm, made it clear she had no desire to leave its side. Thursday, 19th February 2026, episode 189 painted a picture of contrasting fortunes. As one relationship tentatively began to blossom, another hit a devastating rough patch, threatening to end entirely. At gathered everyone for an important announcement regarding the farm's future. In a crucial confirmation, Rian privately verified Ella's deepest suspicions about Johan's true intentions, leaving her with a weighty decision to make. Friday, 20th February 2026, episode 190 found Ella cautiously probing Rian for more information about Johan's complicated past. Elton cornered Bonnie, demanding a serious conversation about their shared history. In a poignant farewell scene, had finally said goodbye to his unexpected visitor, a moment laced with relief, regret, and the quiet hope for a calmer future. Monday, 23rd February 2026, episode 191 rushed Ivanka to the doctor, where she received her test results with alarming speed, the news clearly written on her stricken face. Johan and Ella reached an impasse, unable to see eye to eye on their future. Johan grew openly irritated with Uweis's persistent meddling and protective stance over Ella. The episode ended on a high note, however, with the vibrant Zahn Sonicus taking the stage at Deuper, bringing a much-needed wave of energy. Tuesday, 24th February 2026. Episode 192 followed a frantic Joe and Jess as they tried and failed to get hold of Yvonne, their worry mounting with each unanswered call. Ella actively avoided Johan, creating an awkward dance around the hospital. Uweis, ever observant, couldn't help but wonder what was truly simmering between the two of them, sensing the unresolved tension. Wednesday, 25th February 2026, episode 193 had Nicolette flatly refusing to do any more evacs, her resolve hardened by a painful experience. Uweis managed to convince her to do one last procedure, a decision laden with unspoken dread. Ella received wildly contradictory advice from Johan and Henry, leaving her more conflicted than ever. A suspicious man began asking pointed questions about Yvonne, signaling that her past was closing in fast, while an oblivious Jess felt the chilling sensation of being watched. Thursday, 26th February 2026. Episode 194 delivered a brutal blow. Nicolette and Uweis received disturbing news that turned their professional world upside down. Ella, in a moment of weakness, confided almost everything to Henry, seeking solace. Max, ever cautious, refused to get involved in Yvonne's increasingly drastic and dangerous plans, sensing a point of no return. The threat to Jess became tangible as the Watcher in the shadows grew bolder. Friday, 27th February 2026, episode 195 plunged Joe into a desperate search for a doctor willing to forge a notification of death, a clear sign that Yvonne's situation had reached a critical, possibly tragic peak. Henry, fueled by a mix of concern and jealousy, resolved to confront Johann directly about his feelings for Ella. The episode closed with Nicolette and Uis being forced into immediate isolation, a cliffhanger that sealed their fate and left the entire clinic bracing for impact. And that's the heart-wrenching wrap for February 2026. From farmhouse grief to hospital scandals and hidden pasts catching up, the show never fails to deliver. A huge thank you for watching. If these recaps bring the drama to life for you, please show your support, join the membership, consider a super thanks donation, or simply let the ads run. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your Soapy Squad, and smash that like button. Tell us in the comments, who do you think is in the most danger? Until next time, stay tuned and keep the faith.